without thinking about the consequences.
You're right. Part of the problem is that people don't take action until tragedy strikes their family.
But I think we can learn a lot from this man's story. He could easily have fallen into some sort of depression and just given up. Instead, he's taking action and trying to prevent others from facing what he had to face.
Yeah, you gotta give him credit for that.
The fact is that most teens don't think it can happen to us. We think we're invincible.
Right, but we never think about the other consequences. How embarrassed would you be if you got caught driving drunk? Plus, my parents would take everything away from me. I have no life.
You bring up a great point, Kim. You're talking about the other costs of driving under the influence. Every 2 minutes, there's a non-fatal accident caused by someone driving under the influence. Just because these accidents are non-fatal doesn't mean the drivers don't pay for it. Let me show you guys another short video of a couple people I talked to about driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol.
Some of the monetary cost of being arrested for DWI is having your vehicle towed, which is very expensive, and then you have to get it out of the impound lot. There's attorney fees involved. Most people do not represent themselves, and I would recommend getting a lawyer.
To pay for an attorney for the first driving offense would be anywhere from, say, $2,500 to $5,000. For the second offense, from where I'm from, it would be anywhere from $5,000 on. For the third offense, it would be more than $5,000, probably more than $7,500 because you are dealing with a very serious allegation.
Whether you are able to get your attorney to get the charges reduced, it won't matter to an insurance company. They look at it just the same as if you were convicted of an alcohol-related offense. Anytime there is alcohol involved while you are driving, an insurance company considers that a high-risk driving, and the same thing's going to happen to you as if you were charged with a DWI.
It is possible for teens to lose their driver's license for driving under the influence of alcohol. That really depends on the court system and the judges. They make those final decisions.
You want to give people who have their first violation when you're not an adult yet every chance to rehabilitate yourself and not get in trouble again and be able to drive and work and go to school. But your first offense, make no mistake, the judges take it very seriously, and they will tag any minor who gets their first DWI with a fine, with probation, and you're going to have your driving privileges suspended for some period of time. The question is how much, depending on whether it's your first offense or second offense.
If someone in their household has a DWI, especially a teen, is the whole family's insurance can be canceled or triple. It's not just the teen's insurance. Many companies, if there is a teen in the household, will cancel the insurance of everyone in the household or require that the teen not be allowed to drive any of the vehicles in the household. They must sign a waiver to say that that person would not drive any of the vehicles in the household for them to continue to insure the rest of the family.
On every application, it doesn't just say whether you have a conviction on your record anymore. It asks you whether you've ever had to plead guilty or been found guilty basically of any criminal offense. And be assured that a DWI or driving offense is considered a criminal offense. What can happen? It can affect your ability to get student loans. It can affect your ability to get admitted to a certain college. It can affect your ability to get a job.
The insurance rate of a minor who gets charged with the DWI generally will at least double. It can as much as triple or quadruple depending on other incidents that the minor might have.
You can bet that you will pay a stiff penalty and you will do time if you kill someone while you're drinking and driving.
That probably gave you a different perspective than you're used to, right?
For the most part, I've just been told about the tragic side of it. You know, the death and pain of loved ones. While it's effective, I think kids our age need to be involved in discussions about the other costs talked about in this video. We don't think anything terrible can happen to us, but we need to know that even if the worst doesn't happen, we're still in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, like the zero tolerance. If I'm pulled over with any trace of alcohol on my breath or in my blood, how am I going to afford the fines and court costs? The money I make over the summer would never cover that. It's just not worth it.
Exactly. Our parents would have to pay our fines, and we'd be working it off forever. Not to mention the embarrassment of having to face them after doing something so stupid.
Plus, you run the risk of losing your license. So now you know the other costs of acting so foolish and getting behind the wheel drunk. But do you know how alcohol and other drugs affects our bodies and our ability to drive?
It's because the alcohol gets into our blood and affects our judgment.
Definitely.
It also affects our vision and reaction time, right? I mean, once you have alcohol in your system, you begin to lose concentration and your reflexes become slower.
Exactly. The addition of alcohol and other drugs into your bloodstream makes it more difficult to react appropriately when driving. You lose depth perception, so you don't brake as early as you should, and your vision becomes blurred, making it more difficult to follow the road and react to other vehicles around you. I arranged a little experiment to show you guys how alcohol can affect your reaction time, mental acuity, coordination, judgment, and perception. Watch this. I'm here with Jamie, who will be undergoing a series of tests that will measure his physical and mental well-being as he consumes alcohol. The purpose of this experiment is to determine what type of difference exists between his actual abilities and his perception of his abilities. Jamie's going to complete the first series of tests while completely sober. First, I'm going to drop this ball and see how quickly Jamie reacts. As soon as I release the ball, Jamie is going to hit the bell. This will test his reaction time. Watch the slow motion replay as we put Jamie's reaction time on screen. The clock starts once the ball leaves my hand and stops as soon as Jamie's hand makes contact with the bell. This next exercise will test Jamie's coordination. We're simply observing how difficult it is for Jamie to cross the balance beam. It seems pretty easy right now. Next, we'll test Jamie's mental acuity by timing him as he completes a maze. We're keeping the time hidden from Jamie, but you can see it on the screen. He's going to repeat these tests multiple times. However, Jamie, who's of legal age at 27, is going to consume a bottle of beer before the next test. Now, 15 minutes after his first beer, I'll give him a breathalyzer test to determine his blood alcohol concentration. Once we get a reading, look for it on the screen. I'm going to drop the ball from the same spot, and when Jamie sees it drop, he'll hit the bell. Again, watch the slow-mo